found some.
Get in the boat, boy.
Welcome, everyone, to God of War 4. I just want to leave that opening cutscene as the intro uncut, because I think it's wrong to deface beautiful art. And also, what's a better intro than letting the game intro itself? Sometimes the game just has to speak on its own, grab your attention. I'm not just calling it God of War, because fuck that, it's a direct sequel to God of War 3 in my eyes. But mechanically, things could not be more different. But we'll cover those things as they occur throughout the game. So the biggest change you may have noticed, Kratos has a weak pullout game, and his son, Atreus, you thought I was going to make the joke, you thought I was going to make the boy joke. Anyways, his son and their relationship is pretty much the focal point of this plotline. They start out here kind of estranged to one another. They don't know each other that well, actually. And throughout the game, they must develop their relationship and overcome their differences. But enough of this, let's focus on the here and now. Kratos got married again, but his wife has just died and now they're going to burn her body in some sort of Norse tradition, I don't really know what it is. And right after, Kratos wants to test his son, begin his training, by taking him hunting in the woods. And here we get our first real good look of the over-the-shoulder camera. And I must say, I love this change gameplay-wise. I just played like 7 games of fixed camera. And while those games were fun, I got, oh my god, I was so bored of it. I also just think this is a more modern kind of third-person perspective, and I think it works really well here. So Kratos soon learned that his son is just trash at hunting, and then we get one of the best quotes in gaming.
I'm sorry.
Do not be sorry. Be better.
So he puts his son in timeout, and then we are introduced to the combat.
Stay back!
This might be my favorite third-person combat system in any game ever. And I don't say that lightly, as you know, I only review third-person action games on this channel. Now obviously it will get more in-depth later on as we get more abilities, but already you can juggle enemies, you can throw your axe, knock enemies into each other, use your bare hands. Already there's so many options. And I know enemy health bars look beefy right now. That's mainly because, well, first of all, we're just starting out, we're pretty weak right now, and I'm also on the second highest difficulty, so enemies early on are pretty spongy. But let's go back to these health bars here, because that's another big change. You can actually see how much health an enemy has now. In the other games, you were just whacking enemies and you had to guess which ones were low and which ones weren't. And I like this change a lot. I think it makes combat a lot more strategic, so you can single out certain enemies and know which ones to avoid for the time being. And I think the addition of the health bars also just makes your weapons feel like they're actually doing something this time around. Like when you get a big hit this time, you see a big chunk of health get taken off and you feel like the fucking man. And I think that's what the game gets done the best. It's brutal in more of like an impact kind of way, rather than a brutality from God of War 3 where it's kind of grotesque and gory. But let me shut up, we have a deer to find.
I got it.
Good.
It's still alive.
Your knife. No. Finish what you started.
I can't.
We have no choice.
We're going to be seeing a lot of this guy throughout the game. It's our first real mini-boss, but more importantly, we get to use Atreus now. And to be honest, for this battle, he's pretty fucking useless, I will not lie. But Atreus is a good character, so he's no Gary Sue, he'll get better as the game progresses. And honestly, once you reach the end of the game, he's probably the best weapon in the game. But anyway, back to the mini-boss. This it's pretty straightforward, he's only got a few attacks. They switch it up later with the different variants. But this is a very typical mini-boss, and the first sign of probably the biggest problem with this game, which is enemy variety. You're gonna see me whacking a lot of Draugr throughout this entire 2-part series. You don't really notice it the first time through, but in replaying this game, I really started to notice the lack of enemy variety. Part of me likes it because it's easier to kind of master different enemies' moves, master how to approach and fight them, but then also it just gets kind of boring sometimes, especially later in the game, but we'll get to that. So when we finally kill the troll, we are gifted with a beautiful animation that we will also see a lot, but Kratos' son also has a temper tantrum.
Boy.
Think I'm afraid of you! You're nothing to me!
Boy, look at me. Look at me, boy. Boy, look at me.
We did it.
You are not ready.
What? Are you serious? I found the deer. I proved myself. How am I not ready?
We are going home.
I haven't been sick in a long time. I can do this.
You are not ready.
So the stun meter charges up, and when it is full, enemies will not move in there. It's pretty much a free instant kill, depending on the enemy. And the main things that charge these are Atreus' arrows and barehanded attacks, as well as hitting enemies into the environment. And once again, I think this is a great feature. It adds another layer to the combat, another option for you to dispatch at certain types of enemies. So once we return home, Kratos is busy disciplining his son when we are interrupted by a strange visitor. Bro, who the fuck is this skinny bitch? Does he not know who Kratos is? Okay, you wanna throw hands? We can throw hands, motherfucker. Using the axe is for pussies. boss fight finally over. That shit was insane.
Leaving so soon?
What?
When Odin sent me here, I just needed answers, but you had to act all proud. Throw whatever you have at me. I'll keep coming. That old body will give out. But before I end this, I want you to know one thing. I can't feel any of this. I'd hope that you, of everyone I'd faced, would finally make me feel something, but you can't.
There was so much testosterone in that fight, my balls enlarged 5 times the size. I didn't even show that much of the last phase of the fight. Actually, I didn't show any, because I think some things need to be experienced. Also, I didn't want that section to drag on too long. But it's time to retrieve the boy who we hid away in the house. I didn't mention that, but yes, we hid him under the floorboards. And it's time to embark on their journey, whether they are ready or not. And their journey is to take the mother's ashes to the highest peak in all the realms, which is here on Midgard. So the next hour and a half of gameplay is pretty linear. It's mainly just kind of a warm-up to the rest of the journey. You kind of get introduced to the different sections of Midgard. We're kind of in like a foresty area. We get introduced to weapon upgrades, skill upgrades for the Leviathan axe, which I will touch on in a second. I know I didn't really talk about it in the earlier section. And just a bunch more enemy types. There's some of these fat joggers. Some joggers throw projectiles at you now. And it also introduces the Revenants, which are probably the most unique enemy we've fought so far, because they kind of cast spells and different things, but they're too fast to swing at with our axe, so Atreus has to hit them with arrows. And I like this kind of rock, paper, scissors dynamic with the combat here. You get to learn what each enemy is weak to, what they're strong against, and it just kind of keeps you on your toes during combat. So now we get to our weapon of choice, the Leviathan axe. You've already seen it in action. It's really good at one-on-one fights. Not the best at crowd control, although you can get some moves later that deal with that, but it's just a great weapon. It's probably my favorite weapon, besides the blades, of course, in this entire franchise. I don't know, there's something about it. You feel so fucking manly using it. The way you throw it and call it back like fucking Thor's hammer. And especially once you get the Executioner Cleave, god damn, that's like the best move in the fucking game. I mainly still just like all the options with it. You can juggle, you can throw it, you can get different combos later in the game. Now story-wise here, a decent amount happens. It's mainly, we just kind of see what Kratos and Atreus are like. They're dynamic here in the beginning. They're still kind of cold to one another. They don't get along the best. Atreus is kind of just a dumbass, and Kratos is also a dumbass, but he's like a really mean, cold dumbass. He doesn't really know what he's doing, I guess, when it comes to taking care of his son, but man, he's just winging it like all fathers do. The first main story beat we come across is the trees we cut down in the beginning of the game to make the funeral pyre were actually marked by his wife, but they created some sort of like barrier around it, so that allows the monsters to get in and allows them to get out, I think. So then they kind of hyped this moment up a little bit with some dialogue, but Atreus eventually is forced to kill another person, not like a monster, like an actual person. And you know, before he talks all big, he's like, "I'll kill them if I have to, father." And he's like, "Man, shut up." And then he kills him and he gets all sad and stuff like that. And then Kratos uses some like reverse psychology because he's all bummed out. He doesn't want to keep going. But he's like, "Boy, I will turn this fucking car around. Keep going." Then we meet Brock, which is a very important side character here. He is a dwarf that will help upgrade our weapons and armor. And then we are introduced to some of the RPG mechanics. It's kind of, it's pretty light here. It's mainly just customizing and adding new armor and accessories, talisman. Because you can't change your weapons, obviously, but you can upgrade them. And there's just a bunch of different stats, and I kind of like it because it makes each player's playthrough kind of unique. You get to choose what kind of Kratos you want to make, what do you want to focus on. but honestly, I never really noticed that many differences besides cooldown maybe. But still, like I said, I like it when games give you a lot of options, and I think this has a lot of great gameplay options on top of what's already there. So the journey continues. We fight one of the big troll guys again. This guy throws fire though. He's kind of cool. And besides that, you just keep kind of going forward. You solve some riddles. You explore kind of a town, and then eventually we get more chance at target practice with a boar. And the first time goes like this.
But
What planet? How does he out? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
But the second time, the boy, he just gets better. He wasn't sorry about it. He got better, like what Kratos told him like 2 hours ago. But as we chase the boar, we realize that the boar has a very, very important friend.
He doesn't. He's my friend.
The boy was following my command.
Then help fix this.
She's so hot. She's very hot. I know.
So we help this witch of the woods stitch her friend back to full health, and she takes us into our home, which is under Franklin the Turtle.
Hey, it's Franklin.
So when we get to her house, we smash. Nah, I'm kidding. There's no sex minigame in this one. Why? Why not? So she needs a couple plants from her garden. So she sends Atreus out to get it, and then she reveals to us that she knows Kratos is a god. And Atreus does not know this fact. And she even warns Kratos that nothing good can come from hiding the truth from the boy. But Kratos says, I will deal with it my own way, and his way of dealing with it is to not tell him shit, because not even Kratos himself can deal with the responsibility and the actions that resulted from his godhood. So he keeps Atreus in the dark. The witch agrees to help them on their journey by giving them a spell that will shield them from the gods of Asgard who would maybe try to stop them in their quest. So Kratos is uncharacteristically somewhat cordial towards her as they leave, and she gives us a compass as well, which we can use to navigate the world and the different objectives. So now we get our intro to boat gameplay, which actually is quite a big chunk of the traversal in the world here. And at first you might be like, I don't want to fucking row a boat, but they make it interesting later on. So this little river thing leads to a big lake, which seems to just have nothing underneath, but there's a statue poking out, and we approach it. And we are blessed, just absolutely blessed with one of the most beautiful cutscenes I've ever seen in a game.
sacrifice your arms to the center of the water. Awaken again the cradle of the world. What? Throw our weapons into the water? Guess that won't be a problem for you. Are you gonna do it?
The axe did not return. Hang on, boy! What is this?
It's the world serpent.
Stay calm, boy!
I am! This is great!
It speaks?
Yeah! Mom said he's friendly.
What does it say?
I don't know. That was amazing.
So I don't even know why this has to be said, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If you've never played this game before, click off the review now and just go play this fucking masterpiece of video gaming. You owe it to yourself, not even just as a gamer, as a human being, to experience this masterpiece. But for the already initiated, we're gonna continue, and now the Lake of Nine is exposed to us, referring to the 9 realm towers that dot the outskirts, as well as Tyr's temple in the middle, which holds something very important which you will get to in a few minutes. As we continue towards the mountain, we encounter Sindri, who is Brock's brother, and there is also another blacksmith, and they're having a bit of a feud. They both think the other has lost their talent, and they're not really on good speaking terms. And they both have a kind of quirk to him. Brock, I didn't mention earlier, he has a bit of a potty mouth. You know, he says some bad words.
You son of a bitch.
And Sindri is afraid of germs. Or maybe he's just a clean freak. All I know is he would have never gotten COVID. And he probably could have prevented the entire pandemic. So after talking to him, we continue our trek up to the mountain, and where we encounter a pretty epic fight against an ogre.
Let him go! Father?
Ready yourself.
And after this, we're about to enter the mountain. It's time. Except it's not. We encounter the Black Breath. And when it seems like all hope is lost, my wife, I mean the witch, shows back up. And she has a very good solution for us. We must travel to the realm of Alfheim to retrieve the pure light of Alfheim in order to dispel the Black Breath. And it's at this point in the game when she said we're going to travel to a different realm that I knew this shit was going to be something extra special. You know, she just mentions the word Bifrost, and my penis gets a little bit more erect than it was previously. Because I'm thinking about Thor. That's when it's like a little bit erect. But then I also think about the Rainbow Road or whatever the fuck he's on. And I was like, God damn, this shit gonna be fucking nice, man. So within the Temple of Tyr, we use the Bifrost to travel between worlds.
Focuses and amplifies the power of the Bifrost, opening the bridge to that realm. That's why realm travel is only possible from this room.
What about that one realm tower missing from the lake?
The Jotunheim Tower disappeared from all realms over 100 winters ago, when the giants vanished from Midgard. Where the tower went and how they moved it remain a mystery. Welcome to Alfheim, gentlemen. Think you can spot the light? I can barely see it. Something's wrong. See that column of light on the horizon? It's housed in the heart of a ring temple. We'll find what we need there. No. Damn it, not yet.
What's happening?
To restore the Bifrost magic, you must step into the light. But be very careful not to get caught.
She's not dead. Is she?
Not likely. Come.
Look at this place.
So this starts what I call the Alfheim Expedition. Because it's actually a pretty decent chunk of game. It's like 2 to 3 hours just in this one realm, trying to get past the Black Breath by getting the pure light of Alfheim. And here we will see one of the lowest points in the relationship between Kratos and Atreus later on. And we also kind of see more of what each person is like in this relationship. So here in Alfheim, not only is it beautiful, there's also a war going on between the Light Elves and the Dark Elves over control for the light. And it would appear that the Dark Elves are winning, or have won. And this is kind of where we see our first differences between Kratos and Atreus, and how they might change later on. Atreus, for example, he wants to help the Light Elves. This is part of his childhood innocence, but also his goodness inside of him, where he wants to help others. But it also shows this kind of childhood ignorance towards what is actually going on. He doesn't know the full story, he just sees someone losing and wants to help, which Kratos points out to him. And I suppose in this situation, Kratos could be seen as somewhat of an opposite. He doesn't really care what happens here. He doesn't know enough about the war. He's just going to kill anyone who gets in his way. He doesn't care about the consequences, which is kind of what happened in the other games. But Kratos is smart enough to see in general that they do not belong here. They should not be here. They're invading in a land that they know little to nothing about, in a conflict that they don't know anything about. And while his don't care, pessimistic attitude does bring on the downfall of others, as we have seen, he is still right in the aspect that they do not know enough about this conflict, and they should try their best to not get involved, but obviously that doesn't happen. And this is kind of like the main struggle going on, not only in Alfheim, but throughout the game between the two characters. They're trying to get each other to kind of find some sort of medium between their two philosophies. But we'll get more into that later in Alfheim. For now, let's get a Dark Elf killing compilation.
Jump, boy!
Right! Look out!
Here they come. Stay behind me and protect our flank.
Yes, sir! Stay there! There's so many!
Keep shooting, boy! I will clear our path! Shorten the time between your volleys.
What happened to accuracy on speed?
There are many targets. You will not miss. A narrow path negates superior numbers. Stay focused. Are you injured?
I'm fine.
So after clearing all the Dark Elf gamer gunk, it is time to enter the pure light of Alfheim, but it is a very painful experience. So Kratos leaves Atreus behind with his axe.
Only use it as a last resort.
You're giving me your axe?
I'm letting you hold my axe. It is not a gift.
still.
And as the witch said, it is easy to get lost in the light. But this is Kratos we're talking about, come on. Nope, he got lost in the sauce, baby. So in this section, it's mainly going through locations that you go to later in the game, actually. There's a lot of foreshadowing here. Kratos is following the singing voice of his wife, and he also hears Atreus talk about not being wanted by his father and how that makes him feel. And I think this is just a beautiful moment, but as soon as we might see a breakthrough, we might see Kratos' wife, Atreus pulls him out, and we realize that Kratos has been gone for probably a lot longer than he had originally thought, and Atreus is rightly very upset with him. So golly, it's only been like 5 hours of game time, and Atreus catching bodies like this? That's fucking nuts. So now not only have we charged the Bifrost, we can actually apply it to Atreus' bowstring, which now gives us stun arrows, which do even more stun damage to enemies. And they light up various bridges that we can then use to walk across solid light. So now back on the journey out of this temple, the relationship gets even more rocky. Atreus is being sassy, he talking back. Kratos is just telling him to shut up, to be honest with you. But eventually, after killing the head Dark Elf honcho, this boss isn't anything special, it's just a souped up Dark Elf. Some of it kind of comes to a head.
Wrong side?
Let
me guess. You're gonna be smug and say you told me we shouldn't get involved.
That is enough.
Can we go now?
Do you remember the answer?
Yeah.
Boy, read this. Boy, what's that say?
Only time you want to talk to me is when you need
Do you want to tell me something?
I said, the only time you care to talk to me is when you need me to translate for you. If Mom was here...
If your mother was still alive, we would not be here at all.
Was she in the light?
Who?
You know.
Oh, she was not there.
Not like you would even care if she was.
Mind your tongue, boy! Until our journey is over, one of us must remain focused. Do not mistake my silence for lack of grief. Mourn how you wish. Leave me to my own.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
No. Why would you? You do not know my ways. I know it has not been easy. In the light, I felt only moments pass. If that is of some comfort to you.
That's good to know. Really.
And like through all turmoil, they work through it together, and they become better for it. They understand each other more now after this time in Alfheim. But now it is time to return to Midgard and travel up to the mountain to fulfill the mother's wish. But as we travel back, you've probably noticed in some of the combat clips, I have not mentioned runic attacks yet. These are special abilities bound to the Leviathan axe that are on a cooldown meter. So throughout my playthrough, I mainly used the same two. I really like the starter ones, the Hell's Touch especially for the light runic attack. It's just a quick flash, it can stop enemy attacks, it does a little bit of damage, and it gives you great openings. But there are so many you find throughout the game that I just love it, because it adds even more gameplay variety, and that's what this is all about. Let the player play how they want to play, because only the player knows how they want to play. And just by giving this straight up variety with so many different options, it ensures that no one feels kind of left out with the combat and they can find their own ways to be successful. And speaking of successful, the pure light of Alfheim works on the Black Breath and we can enter the mountain. Just like how I entered your mother last night. So while we traverse inside the mountain, we face more enemies, as is common in these games, but also we learn a little bit more about what it is. It's pretty much a Jotnar settlement, which means giants, and a bit of a dwarf settlement as well. It has long been abandoned though, obviously. And if you heard the witch earlier, that the Jotnar have fled Midgard, and the Jotnar are kind of the good guys, I guess, in the lore here. Throughout exploring so far, we have found a bunch of Jotnar shrines, actually. And these provide a bit of backstory, although they will be expanded upon later once we meet a certain character. But I love these little bits of lore that we get every now and then, and how they really twist the Norse universe in an interesting way, and in their own way. So anyways, as we ascend the Great Mountain, We can see now that Atreus and Kratos, after their little altercation on Alfheim, they're starting to grow closer, I think. Atreus still does some dumb stuff, Kratos can still be a dickhead, but overall they're sharing some actual dialogue now, and they have a really good moment here. And
Wait, that one's not broken. There's a note. A giant's prayer. They're asking their ancestors to watch over them, to guide them home.
Boy,
Wait. I think I know how it works. Watch.
what did you write?
I asked them to watch over Mother. Do you think they'll watch over us on the way to the top?
Come, boy. It is a long way up.
for the final stretch up this mountain, we take a nice relaxing elevator ride. Golly, I'm glad that's over. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Come on though.
Be ready! Hold on!
So eventually we find that the dragon is attacking our friend Sindri. Kratos is like, let's just fucking leave him. But then Atreus, he starts to change the man. He changes him for the better. I didn't think it was possible. And we get gifted one of the most incredible looking boss fights I have ever played in a video game.
We have to help him.
Break right. Find an angle. Wait for my mark.
Thank you. Hey, Ugly! Over here!
Let me just say for the one time, this is for the record. There is no studio out there, in my opinion, that understands spectacle and grand scale better than Santa Monica Studio. And this boss fight is just evidence of it. And this is just not even the most fire part of the game yet too, which is just baffling to me that there's more just greatness to come. So as a reward, Sindri gives us braided mistletoe arrows for the boy. But Kratos was like, what the fuck is this? These suck. So instead, he gives us lightning arrows now, which is our second type of arrow. And these focus more on damage than the stun arrows, obviously. And they can break these cool little sap crystal things around the world. But it's time to get back to the top of the mountain. And on the way, just want to share this as another nice little moment between father and son.
Your quiver.
Strap broke when we fought the dragon. It's alright. I can hold it.
Stop. Broken quiver will slow your draw. Pain we endure. Faulty weaponry we do not. This will do for now. Good?
Good.
Go.
And bro, just look at this environment up here. Look at the snow. God damn, this game is just so beautiful. So as we climb up to the very tippity top, we hear some people talking, and we see the tattooed man again, who we learned earlier, I didn't mention it, is Baldur, one of the sons of Odin, and this time he is with Magni and Modi, the sons of Thor. And these men are Aesir gods, who are pretty much, from what we know, just the most complete, utter villains of this universe. Just the most vile gods, people you could ever come across. And obviously they answer to Odin, who we hear plenty about, and he just seems like just the worst person of all time. And they are looking for us because they're trying to find out something from us. That's kind of part of the mystery of this game. We don't really know what they want. So then when we climb up, we figure out who they're talking to, and it is one of my favorite characters.
They call me Mimir, smartest man alive. And I have the answer to your every question.
Why does the son of Odin hunt us?
Okay, there are a few gaps in my knowledge. But Odin's had me imprisoned here for 109 winters. I'm a clever lad. I can piece it together. Promise. Just given time.
Nobody there, just like I said.
The boy's mother is dead. She wished her...
She wanted us to spread her ashes on the highest peak in all the realms.
Oh, then you've come to the wrong place, little brother. The highest peak in all the realms is not here in Midgard. It's in Jotunheim, realm of the giants.
No!
That could not be what she meant.
Take a look. This is the last known bridge to Jotunheim in all the realms. See that mountain? Looks like a giant's finger scraping the sky. That's the highest peak in all the realms. No here.
Can't we just take that bridge? We have a Bifrost.
When the giants destroyed all other bridges to their realm, they locked this one up with a secret rune. If it still exists, only a giant would know it.
And all of them left Midgard a long time ago.
True. But today, the winds of fate have kicked up a strange vortex of coincidence. Fact is, there's only one person alive who can get you where you need to go. And luckily for you, my schedule's wide open.
We're going to Jotunheim, right?
It's your best and only move from a tactical standpoint. It's the one place the man who cannot be killed won't follow you.
What do we do?
Yes!
First, you need to cut off my head.
Wait, what?
Odin made sure that no weapon, not even Thor's hammer, could free my body from these bonds. But fortunately, you don't need my body. The trick is, we need to find someone who can reanimate my head using the old magic.
Old magic. There's a witch of the woods. She knows the old ways.
And she'll help. She might do worth a try.
But if she fails, he will be dead.
He tortures me, you know. Every day, brother. Odin himself sees to it personally, and believe me, there is no end to his creativity. Every single day. This isn't living.
Very well.
Oh, I can't watch this.
Mother, in case you can't resurrect me, there's something you need to know. The boy, the longer you wait to tell him his true nature, the more damage you do. He will resent you, and you may lose him forever.
There is much about me I would not have him know.
So you value your privacy more than your son, eh?
I'm going to cut off your head now.
Fair enough.
So yes, our quest is not complete. We must go to Jotunheim, which is virtually impossible, it seems. According to Mimir, we can get there, so we have to take him back to the witch, revive his head. He needs a chug jug. So she very reluctantly decides to revive him, and we know why. We figure out that she is actually the goddess Freya, the former wife of Odin. And Kratos is not very happy when he finds out about this, because obviously he hates all gods. So Kratos leaves in a hurry, and Atreus doesn't really understand, and now we got beef. Yeah, we got beef. Freya, you lied to me. How could you do this to me, man? I thought what we had was special, man. Also, she threw out my son's cool gift. She threw away the fucking cool arrows. She was scared of him or some shit. That's his goddamn Christmas gift. We're a struggling family. Do you know how much those meant to him? But now we have Mimir on our side. And while he's not useful in combat, he makes boat rides much more interesting as he tells great stories and teaches us the lore of this game in a very organic way. Also, his voice is just, my god. My god. Holy shit, I just realized how fucking long this video is. Okay, so here's the plan, right? We're gonna go up to the next main story section and we'll talk about side quests and a couple other things near the start of the next part. How about that? Sounds good? Great. I don't even know why I asked you, because not only can you not answer, I don't give a shit about what you think. So Mimir can talk to the world's serpent, who speaks a dead tongue, but Mimir, he's just that smart, he's just that dude. So the world serpent agrees to help us and points us in the right direction to Jotunheim. And the first stop is we must go to the corpse of a giant to retrieve a part of a magic chisel. In this area, this section, goddamn. Like I said, spectacle, they just understand it, bro. And now there's a cool new enemy type, Wolvers. These guys they're pretty quick, they're pretty fast, they're also beefy though. And they're also really fucking annoying. I hate this enemy type, they always whoop my ass. And we also get another cool little piece of lore while exploring this area. Sindri tells us that dwarves can actually travel between realms to the realm between realms, whatever the fuck it is, so they can kind of like stealth around and shit, but it doesn't work on dragons, that's why he was attacked earlier. So in order to get to the magic chisel, Kratos has to drop a giant hammer down through a sheet of ice, and this part's just pretty cool, it just looks cool. And Kratos actually, he used the brain for this one, and this is just evidence. In all the other games, people are like, Kratos, you're just a dumb piece of meat, you're just a stupid idiot, and that's just clearly not the case, because first of all, he killed all those people, so clearly he was doing something right, and second of all, he's actually a pretty good strategist, and he figures out how to break through this layer of ice like a fucking Chad. So we fight through some more enemies. We gotta fight another one of these fucking troll motherfuckers. I actually skipped over one earlier that we fought in the mountain because I didn't think it was important. And eventually we come closer to the chisel, but unfortunately some fuckos are in the way.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Boy. Surrender. The All-Father demands it. No. Good. This fight is mine, boy. Go.
And where do you think you're going? Oh no, brother. The little freak's got a bow. What are we gonna do?
Dude, I already know Kratos is confused because this dude with the weird neck sounds just like that stupid idiot from God of War Ascension. And now he's getting flashback to just an inferior game, an inferior product. Alright, time to whip out the belt and give out some fatherly discipline that these boys simply did not have enough of as children.
Don't tell me.
war to lay with the last of him.
I'll kill you!
Control yourself!
No! How did you... You have no idea. You son of a bitch!
Get that gun! I'll rip your head off!
Old habits die hard, I guess. But anyway, the boy is now sick. These brats, these spoiled brats got my son all riled up. But we taught him a lesson, although one is still alive. While the boy is showing sickly attributes, he still says he can press on, so we grab a piece of the magic chisel. And now we have to go to our next destination, Tyr's Vault, which holds the secret travel room to Jotunheim, which we must etch into the portal using the chisel. So while I row my way to Tyr's Vault, and while we buy a little time, I just want to comment on the last boss fight, Magni and Modi. It is my second favorite in the game. While the dragon boss fight was more about spectacle over gameplay, because to be honest, the gameplay wasn't that deep. It's still a fantastic boss fight, just because it looks so fucking cool, but gameplay-wise, it was a little bit lacking. But this one, I think it has the spectacle in their moveset and the different things that they do, as well as the music, man. You hear that fucking soundtrack? But I also think the gameplay associated with it is really great, because this is kind of the first, like, 2-on-2 boss battle we've had, where Atreus can actually take the attention of one of them, because if they both focus you, you're probably gonna fucking die. I also love how you have to kind of adapt to both their movesets, depending on who you're fighting at the time. Most of the time you'll be on Magni, which is what I've noticed, but when you fight Modi, god, he's just a little rat with that fucking shield. And I also like that they start to get kind of combo moves together as the phases wear on, and they actually get more individual moves themselves. If I had to pick a downside for the boss fight, it's probably the snowblind. It looks cool when they do it, but the actual section is just kind of janky in my opinion. And it's just not really that fun. I'm glad they skip it for the last snowblind. Of course it ends with us killing Magni. And like I said, Kratos just can't help himself, I guess. So anyways, we get to the entrance to the vault, which is under the Temple of the Nine in the middle of the lake. And our son Atreus, we taught him so much, he wants to teach us a little bit about the languages he speaks throughout. Because this motherfucker, he's just a little Rosetta Stone.
Atreus.
Come on. You already speak it. Learning to read won't be that hard.
I know how to read, boy. Just not this tongue.
You're halfway there already then. Okay, so the runes represent a lot of different things. Some gods, some animals.
Wait.
Oh, am I going too fast? Sorry.
Not that. Do you smell something?
Yeah, I do. Smells like... rain?
You ruined everything! I earned that fucking hammer! But now, everyone's gonna think I only got it because Magni's gone! It'll be a joke! But if I kill you, no one's gonna laugh at me! Oh, are you dumb? That your father's doing? Or did you get it from your mum? She's stupid and ugly.
Shut up! You don't know anything about my mother.
Oh, it's true. But I'm gonna get to know you really well. You're gonna be my new brother. Right after I finish killing your father! Whoops. I think I broke him. No. Stay back! No! This isn't over!
Brother, the boy.
Atreus.
You have to get into Freya quickly. There's no other way.
Will the boy survive? Will Kratos be able to save him in time? Find out on the next episode of God of War 4 narrative review by Stutterman. Yes, I'm leaving it on a cliffhanger. I did want to go actually a bit further, but I need to keep this under an hour. And it's not really a cliffhanger if you played the game, which you should have played the game if you're still here. If you haven't played the game yet, what the fuck are you doing? Make sure you go play it now, because the next part of this game, part 2 won't be crazy, that's all I'm gonna say. Alright, I actually have an accounting test in like a few hours, so I actually have to go now, so bye bye.